It's Coney Hatch right here on your Classic Metal Show with Devil's Deck, one of those Canadian bands that I seem to be attracted to, kind of like Kick-Axe and Helix and Coney Hatch.
Right.
So they're not the biggest in the world, but they seem to always have some catchy tunes.
Sure.
And those are my little guilty pleasure bands that. Oh man, those guys aren't that good. It's like, well, it's not that they're that good. It's just I have a certain affection for those guys.
How about this? Then don't fucking listen.
Yeah, pal.
Yeah, go use your Spotify, cunt face.
But there you go. All right, we talk about this often, and this is always a picking point of mine personally.
Okay.
All this political correctness that has overtaken us. When do you think this will come to an end? When do you think people will finally stand up and say, you know what, I'm sick of playing the PC card all the time?
I think it's starting to happen. And I don't know that it's going to have like an end point. You're always going to have people whining.
Yeah, of course you will.
But I do think that people right now are basically starting to say, you know what, fuck you, don't care. And it's happening more and more because people are starting to see that you can stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't think it ever is going to totally go away. We've raised a fucking generation of pussies, so they're going to be pussies.
Yeah.
But I think it's easing a bit, I guess.
Sure. Now let me ask you something, just on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you are a porn aficionado.
Love it.
Does Victoria's Secret do anything for you?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Why do I want to see them clothed?
Well, regardless of the amount of clothing they wear, do you find that their models or their lingerie or whatever it is that they're selling, do you think that's hot?
It's okay. I mean, it's not ugly.
But it really isn't like, wow, Victoria's Secret. Oh my God.
Oh, I got to see what she looks like in that corset. No, it's nothing like that.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of Victoria's Secret. I look at them, it's like, yeah, they're okay, but
Hey, dude, even when they're wearing it, all I'm really looking at is, man, there's some big tits under there.
Sure.
That's all I'm ever thinking. I'm never like, oh my God, I gotta get a girl that looks like that.
Yeah.
It's that. No.
Yeah, the whole Victoria's Secret thing for me personally, I've seen it. It's like, yeah, they're okay.
No.
But
Dude,
as far as like, oh my God, did you see the new Victoria's Secret chick? Oh my God, it's like, okay, she's a good looking girl.
Did you ever date a girl that thought that fucking like lingerie, like sexy lingerie was like a real appealing thing? Well, first of all, I guess I should ask, is it for you?
Well, it depends. It depends on what it is.
Okay.
And it depends, and not all lingerie is for all women.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. If a girl, depending on her physique, whatever it is,
yeah,
if she wears the right thing that's made for that body type,
mm-hmm.
it can be pretty hot. But if you're a girl trying to wear something that's really not meant for you, then it just comes off as awkward.
Yeah. I agree.
So
you would be pro, though, ultimately. Like, if you were dating some chick and you thought she was hot and she came in with some fucking Victoria's Secret gear, you would be pro that, or you'd be like, yeah, whatever?
Well, I think again, if it isn't made for her, or if it isn't cut right, or if she doesn't wear it right,
mm-hmm.
it's like, it's not doing it for me.
See, because I'm of this, I personally am of the school that I could care less. You know what? I'm not. If we're to that point, I just want that shit off you so that I can bang you.
Well, I've had a few experiences where the girl kind of knew what fit her style well.
Okay. Yeah.
And it really looked good. And then I've had others who tried to wear stuff that just like, well, that isn't really you, or that doesn't work for you, or it's ill-fitting, or it just doesn't accentuate you at all.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of like, that's okay. And then here's the problem with that. if you don't react to it in a very highly positive manner,
Yeah.
then of course now you're an asshole.
Dude, the worst sex I ever had is that exact same point. This is where I was going with it. When I was in the service, I was in Korea, and there was this girl. I met this girl out in the Ville partying one night, and we met, and I ended up banging her like the night we met.
Okay.
Well, she was from another base. She was from a base called K-16, which was, I don't know, 20 miles, 15 miles, something from where I was stationed at. And so after that first night, I got a phone number from her, and, I was calling her every day, and we were just sort of, chatting, and, we'd already fucked. So we were already we were at that point of, oh man, when I see you again, man, we're going to fucking fuck it, whatever. It was all that kind of sexy talk.
Right.
But so we worked it out, and I had to take a bus to get to her base. So we had to find a time that fit where she would be off at the same time I would be off. So about 2 weeks later on a Wednesday, we worked it out for me to come to K-16 to her barracks. So I go to her barracks, and first she wants to introduce, I don't know anybody there. And she's like introducing me to all her friends. Well, I am, as I always have been, the social butterfly guy. So I'm hanging out with her friends, and I'm partying, and, we're drinking, and we're having fun, and I'm telling stories, and her friends are telling me stories. I'm just getting to know her friends, right?
Okay.
So after a while, an hour or two or whatever, she's like, let's go back to my room. And I was like, okay, cool. And so we go back to her room, and we start making out or whatever. And, I start fucking grabbing her tits, and she's grabbing my dick and whatever. And we're just, messing around kind of, right? But she stops and goes, I'll be right back in a minute. And I was like, okay, cool.
Now I'm all horned up. Now I got to wait.
Now I'm sitting there, hard dick, fucking sitting on her bed. The lights are off. It's a barracks bed, more or less.
Right.
So it's, we're just sort of waiting. And so she comes in, and she has this teddy on, I guess. And it just wasn't working. It wasn't working for her. It wasn't working for me.
Right.
And I don't give a shit anyway about this kind of shit. So she comes over, and she like leans in and starts kissing me or whatever. And she goes, do you like it? And I'm like, yeah, it's great. And she just knew that I fucking did not fucking care.
Right.
And she was put off by it.
Of course.
And then so she took it off, and and we were fucking and whatever, but it was so fucking mechanical.
Yeah.
It was so fucking mechanical and boring that it was like 15 minutes. It's like, okay, well, let's get dressed and go back and party with your friends. It was no fucking hanging around, no cuddling,
right, sure,
no spending time with her, nothing. It literally was like, okay, I squirted, let's go.
Right.
Because it all started because she got put off by the fact that I wasn't like, oh, that's so sexy, and did you get that just for me? And there was none of that going on.
Yeah, well, and I've been in those situations.
Yeah, just horrible.
Yeah. Well, the one that got me, was that I had zero reaction to.
Yeah.
For me personally, and if a girl wears it well or can pull the look off, I'm more into the reds and the blacks.
Right.
Not into pastels at all. The light greens and the light pinks and the whites and this and that doesn't do a thing for me. Right. So I've been in situations where, they try to make that, this is really sexy. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, yeah. It doesn't do it for me.
Well, I've always been under the mindset, and tell me if you're not this way as well. But by the time we get to a bedroom or somewhere, by the time we get to where we both know that we're going to fuck,
Yeah.
then, I don't want to play theater of the mind. I'm all anything that you're wearing, whether it's a coat or a teddy, all that is interference. It's not appealing. I don't want to fucking look at you prancing around in it. Just take that shit off and let's get to the fucking business of my balls losing their fucking fluids. Let's do what we're here to do.
Right.
I don't have time for this shit. I don't have time to tell you, oh, that's so special. Did you get that for me? I love it. No. Throw that shit in the corner and let's get down to it.
Right.
The romantic that I am.
Well, I'll tell you the subliminal thing.
Okay.
For me, and this was like one of those really rare occasions.
Mm-hmm.
This was a long time ago. This was back in like 89, maybe 90.
Okay.
So I had this girlfriend,
mm-hmm.
and she was opening up a new business.
Okay.
So she was having a grand opening party, and she was wearing a very form-fitting dress.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see her panty lines through the dress.
Right.
And I thought, okay, well, this isn't looking quite right. The dress is so tight, you could see her panty lines.
Okay.
And I'm just like, okay, this is a little unsightly.
Yeah.
So I walked up to her and I whispered in her ear and I go, I love the dress. I like how tight it is, but I can see your panty lines.
Right. Okay.
So I'm standing there having a drink, like, I don't know, she was serving champagne or wine or something. And I'm just kind of standing there, just kind of hanging out at this grand opening party. Mm-hmm. She sneaks up behind me. She takes my hand and she pulls it back behind my back.
Okay.
And then she puts something in my hand.
Yeah.
And she goes, put these in your pocket. It's her panties.
Nice.
She took her panties off and says, put these in your pocket.
Nice.
And that was the hottest move ever.
Yeah. See, that's a hot move.
That's a hot move.
But the reason that was a hot move was because
you couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, it wasn't in the situation where you were like ready to fuck.
Right.
If you were already in the bedroom, and away from people and by yourselves and whatnot, ready to go, and then she fucking stuck those panties in your hand, you'd be like, what the fuck? Get rid of this shit. Let's go. Right?
Right.
That's it. It's to me, teddies and lingerie, it just doesn't work. Now, dirty talk, that's a whole nother thing.
Sure.
I like that. I like when you're fucking smacking your dick on a chick's face or whatever, and you're like, you like being beaten with that bitch? She's like, yeah, yeah, daddy, or shit like that. It's like, fuck yeah, that's fucking good.
Right. Well, yeah. I dated a girl who thought Victoria's Secret was like the ultimate lingerie.
Right.
And I was like, it's okay. So, periodically, if we were out and about and went to the mall, she wanted to stop into the Victoria's Secret store,
mm-hmm.
buy something. It's like I'd go in there and they'd have their lingerie mannequins,
Yeah, sure.
And I'd look at the stuff and I go, it's okay, but whatever. Isn't that the sexiest thing ever? It's like, not really. It's just like, there's really nothing all that hot about that. I'm sorry. It's just like, doesn't do a thing for me. Well, other guys would find that hot. What's wrong with you?
No, so go fuck them.
Yeah. Well, anyway, getting back to Victoria's Secret.
Mm-hmm.
Victoria's Secret is under fire for the uptight leftover, its lack of representation.
Okay.
This is not about race, creed, or color. This is about Victoria's Secret not putting biological men, otherwise known as transsexuals or transgender,
Okay.
And fat people, that is plus-size model in its lingerie catalog and fashion show.
They want to put fatties and dudes in the Victoria's Secret?
Well, we got to be all... Well, that's today's political correctness. You have to be all-inclusive.
No. We just want to jack off in peace.
But you see, you're doing this for selfish reasons. You're not being inclusive and diversive.
Yeah. If I'm going into Victoria's Secrets, I'm certainly not looking to fucking please the community.
Right.
I'm looking to please one fucking person, and she's going to have a vagina that she was born with.
Nothing better reveals the lunacy of the uptight left than the following paragraph from the uptight Daily Beast. Okay. In an interview with Vogue, the Victoria's Secret executive dismissed the idea of casting transgender or a plus-size model in the company's annual fashion show, saying that the controversial procession of scantily clad models was meant to be a fantasy. Mm. So let's break this insanity down. What is now controversial about uptight left is processions of scantily clad models. Yes, you read that correctly. Beautiful women who choose to use their God-given and hard-earned beauty, women who choose to market their own sexuality, women who choose to enter into a transaction between the consenting adults where she chooses to be objectified and he chooses to gawk, women who choose to drive the rest of us crazy by engaging in age-old art of giving us a peek at what we can have, women who choose to make a living as a living embodiment of stuff of fantasy, now that is considered controversial.
Yeah. Please tell me the Victoria's Secrets did not cave into this lunacy.
But guess what? Would not be controversial. Guess what would remove all the controversy and turn this into the very same procession of scantily clad models into something acceptable? No joke. This is the answer. All Victoria's Secret has to do is end this public relations blackmail, is to add biological men, that is transsexuals, transgender, and fat people, plus models to its lingerie catalog and fashion show.
Fuck that. Why would they sabotage their whole business?
Well, during an interview with Vogue, Victoria's Secret Chief Marketing Officer Ed Rezek was berated for not being inclusive. Mm-hmm. And this is all about the poor guy said to launch the witch hunt that followed. We attempted to do a television special for plus sizes in 2000. No one had any interest at all, and they still don't.
Yeah.
Our show is only branded special in the world, seen in 190 countries by 1,000,000,006 million people. 45% more people saw it last year than the year before. Our direct business is growing substantially, double digits on a monthly basis. Shouldn't you have transsexuals on the show? No, I don't think we should.
Good for this guy.
Well, why not? Because the show is a fantasy. It's a 42-minute entertainment special. That's what it is. It is only a one-of-a-kind in the world, and any other fashion brand in the world would take it in a minute, including the competitors that are carping at us, and they carp at us because we're the leader.
Okay.
So first off, Rezek is under attack for using the term transsexual instead of transgender.
Okay.
Apparently the term transsexual is forbidden now.
Oh, is it? I was unaware.
Well, did you get the memo on that? Because I didn't.
Me either.
And do you want to know why you didn't? Because it's a trap.
Okay.
These fascists changed the language without informing the rest of us, which allows them to smear us as an ist or a phobe, simply because we didn't know the language had been changed.
Oh, okay.
You're racist. You're homophobic. You're xenophobic. You're this. You're that.
Yeah.
This goes back to that whole thing we were talking about earlier in the show, where you're racist.
Yeah. Okay, I am. So
anyway, because you are no longer allowed to put your own opinions in America without fear of losing your career, your reputation, the ability to make a living, Resnick was forced to issue a groveling
apology.
Yes.
He apologized?
Well, let's find out.
All right.
Naturally, the apology was not enough for the uptight left.
Of course not.
Because nothing ever is enough for the uptight left, because the uptight left is not really interested in representation. What they really want is to destroy everyone else's fun.
So he did apologize, and yet again, he fucking got fucked by it.
Yep.
When are people going to learn? Never apologize.
Nope.
Do not apologize, no matter what.
Fun and escapism and fantasy can no longer be allowed, because fun and escapism and fantasy are controversial, and they will remain controversial to a point where Victoria's Secret is being threatened with the red smear of scarlet letter until it agrees to destroy its own brand.
Mm-hmm.
We have never seen this before. We have all watched as the woke fascists destroyed the Boy Scouts, the Miss America pageant, every award show, the NFL, Playboy, and the final season of House of Cards. And it will happen again.
Yeah.
Now, allow me to be perfectly clear about something. I am an American who believes in freedom for all. And that includes the right to fly whatever freak flag you want to fly. I'm a pro-freak flag American, and to prove my bona fides in this regard, I want to sincerely encourage the Daily Beast and all of those making these Stalinist demands on Victoria's Secret to behave like Americans instead of bullies. If you want to lead the crusade, to be an avant-garde, to push us into the future, to fulfill this dream, to further this cause, to fly the flag. If you want fashion shows and lingerie catalogs filled with biological men, that is transsexuals or fat people, plus size model, by all means do it.
Yeah.
Knock yourselves out. This is American way, and you have my full support. What is not American, though, what is un-America, in fact, is relentless bullying, intimidation, and threatening of others to do something they do not want to do.
Right.
Which goes back to that segment we did earlier tonight about the whole PayPal thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to contact your sponsors. I'm going to contact your employer.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you capitulate whether you want to or not.
Yeah, pal.
Because you're not seeing the world as we see it.
That's right.
My particular freak flag flaps in the breeze, powered by biological adult women in amazing physical shape parading around in lingerie. And yes, because I was, if you'll pardon the expression, born that way, I'm going to risk my own scarlet letter by confessing to my own wrong think by admitting that, if you pardon the expression, inclusion of transsexuals, plus size model would take the wind out of my particular freak flag.
Yeah. I'm with this guy or girl, whoever wrote this.
However, this does not mean there is no place in America for transsexuals or fat people, plus size model and lingerie catalogs and fashion shows. This is a great, big, beautiful country. So what I'm saying is, why can't you do your thing and leave Victoria's Secret alone to do theirs?
Yeah, how dare they do something that we don't fucking agree with? Fuck this. God, I hate fucking society today.
Yep. So there you are. Even Victoria's Secret is falling under fire. Yeah. You don't have enough fatties in your catalog. You're not including men who pretend that they're women.
But the guy should not have apologized.
I agree with that.
What is he doing? His answer should have been, my formula works. Show me that it works another way, and then I'll consider it. That's it. That's the end. No apology. This is the business that I do, and it makes me a shit ton of money. So go fuck yourself. Don't fucking watch.
And don't buy my product.
Yeah, don't come in our stores. Don't watch. Don't watch the shows. You know, beat it. That's the answer. Beat it. Make your own fucking clothes or underwear or whatever. You fucking weirdos.
Yeah, invest your own money in making a lingerie line that's successful.
Yeah, in 190 countries or whatever they said. Yeah, just fuck off. Here, you want my apology? I'm sorry that you're such a fucking rube. Fuck you.